Rich Eisen, host of NFL Game Day Morning, the Rich Eisen podcast on the NFL Network. Larry Fitzgerald, Al Michaels, Dennis Miller, and Steve Hutchinson on his latest podcast, richeisen.nfl.com and on iTunes. Before we get to Jets and Patriots coming up tonight on the NFL Network, the Redskins nickname, or the Redskins and how we approach that name, you have journalists who are now saying they're not going to use the name. The role of a journalist, in your opinion, should you be just a journalist or can you be an activist as well?
Well, I mean, you can be an activist outside of the job, but I don't think people are sitting there on pins and needles wondering if I'm using that word or not. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't think that's what people are wondering. I do have friends that are emailing me saying, don't say the word on the air. I've got a lot of friends who are saying that right now.
And what's your response?
I act like I don't receive the email. No, seriously, my response is that, I don't know. It's obviously a very difficult spot for somebody like me or whomever to be asked that of a friend to be in. The bottom line is that's what the Redskins are calling themselves.
But saying the name doesn't mean we support it.
No.
I mean, I still have to be.
That's the flip side of it, Dan. Is that if I'm saying it on the air, people are saying, well, you're supporting what that may mean to some people, or you are supporting that. Or let's put it this way: if I'm saying it on the air, then I'm offending somebody.
Yeah.
But clearly, that's not the case. I mean, I'm just talking about the team's name. That is what they are calling themselves. And to be very honest, if I go on the air and just say Washington, will that go ahead and have Dan Snyder change the team name? I don't see that.
Well, what about Peter King is not using the nickname? Bill Simmons isn't. Christine Brennan, USA Today. Are they doing their job by not using that nickname?
Sure. I mean, they're still doing their job. They're still talking about Washington. They're still talking about this team and that team. I mean, they're still talking about the team. They're not doing their job if they're not talking about the team. I still think they're doing their job, yeah.
Okay.
And it's up to them if they care to use their job to take a stand. I mean, they're not putting it on their sleeve. They're just using the word Washington. And if people, I didn't think that – I mean, I didn't see Bill Simmons put out a press release saying I'm not saying the word Redskins anymore. He's just not using it.
Well, Peter said that he didn't want to make a big deal out of it. He was just not going to use that nickname in his column.
Well, I still read his column, and I'm wondering if will fans of Washington no longer read his column. I don't know. I mean, there are many fans who are talking about this. I have to be honest with you. I get more fans tweeting at me and talking about what's going to happen when RG3 goes into Green Bay this weekend than this. And people hearing this right now, I might get a torrent of tweets saying, do more from your position in that regard. I believe, that this team name, would I like it if there was a team name out there that would offend me as a Jew? Of course I would. I'd dislike it intensely. So my opinion in many ways may matter to some, but I think in the larger picture going on the air when I'm talking about the Redskins, that's the team name, and that's what Dan Snyder's calling it, and that's the way it is right now.
But if you put it into, you're talking about being Jewish, there's a derogatory term or two that's used with, Jewish people. That if that was the nickname of a sports team, let's just say, hypothetically, that's what Native Americans tell me. Just understand what that means to us, that if you were calling African Americans something or, Jewish people something, how would you feel? I think the thing is that the people who are behind this, there's not a voice, a face, a name attached to the Native American cause. And normally that's what you need to get people's attention here. I think it's always been there. It's been simmering. I just don't know if it ever gets to the front burner where Daniel Snyder seems even more defiant that he's just going to go, no, I'm not doing it. Even more so, he seems firmly entrenched that he's not going to change it. Now, here's the question. Should the commissioner be involved in this with the Redskins?
How do you mean?
Should he step in if he feels like that he should change it?
Well,
now,
all I know is, we're talking about millions upon millions of dollars.
Yeah.
Millions.
Yeah.
I mean, it is more than just a moral equation here. There is a financial aspect to
but
this,
he would make money, Rich.
Just like everything in life.
Daniel Snyder would make more money.
Listen, would everybody go out there and buy the new jersey or what have you? Sure. But the process of removing everything, and I mean, there was an excellent article in the New York Times about the cost of all of this that would have to be undertaken.
Well, but here it comes down to this, and I'm going to bring you back for another segment so we can talk football. We're talking Rich Eisen of the NFL Network. I don't like when people tell people of a certain faith, religion, color, how they're supposed to feel. And Daniel Snyder's trying to say that to Native Americans. That's where I have a problem with it. And if you're going to pay tribute to a tribe, I mean, imagine if we had African tribes and we named sports teams after African tribes. But then somebody said, no, let's change this. We'll call them the Blackskins. How would that go over? That's exactly what you have with Redskins and the tribes that they're named after. So I understand it, but you know what? If the commissioner's not going to step in, Daniel Snyder's not. And if people want to take up their own cause, great. I'm fine with that.
I don't disagree with a word you just said, Dan.
All right, we'll come back. We'll continue with Rich Eisen.
That clipped so we can lead our show with that?
If you'd like
tonight?
to, I'd be more than happy to give it to you.
We'll give you full courtesy, Dan.
Well, thank you.
But, I mean, what better way to set the stage for tonight's Thursday Night Football game?
A good old-fashioned fishhook.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, and peeing all over yourself.
Yeah.
Don't forget that.
What do you expect tonight in this game?
I expect I have no idea what to expect. We just spent an hour and a half talking about that, and I mean, the stage is set for Geno Smith to show the country that he is ready for prime time. And
is he ready for prime time?
That's the question. Yeah. I have no idea. Nobody knows. But he did complete over 60% of his passes against the Buccaneers. He obviously needed some help from the football gods at the end of the game to come out with the win. But a win is a win. They are 1-0. And he's 4 quarters away from being in first place in the AFC East with a game in hand on the hated rivals of the Jets. And the Patriots can come out tonight and just show everybody that despite every possible name weapon that Brady had, despite all of those guys not being on the field, he's still 12. He's still Brady. And the Patriots are still the Patriots. And nobody knows what to expect because Amendola's out. Everybody's out. Vereen is out. There's Gronk is out. Who knows where Brandon Lloyd is? We know Welker's going to be in MetLife this Sunday wearing a horse on the side of his helmet. I mean, who does Brady have to throw to? We'll see that tonight. So I have no idea what to expect, which is sort of a fun thing about a Week 2 game.
You also had the report by the mothership that Sanchez likely to have season-ending shoulder surgery. He did refute that, said the reporting was reckless, and he's going to try to rehab this shoulder. Let's say he just rehabs the shoulder. Will we see Mark Sanchez play again this year?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I really don't think so. He's rehabbing a torn labrum. That's going to take a while. And if Geno Smith gets hurt and then he's healthy enough when Sanchez is healthy, I just don't see the benefit to them not getting Geno Smith up to speed as much as possible so they could figure out going into next year's draft if this kid is the right one. I think Sanchez has played his last down as a New York Jet. It's unfortunate that it ended the way that it did, but I just love when fans of who listen to all the great information men, all the information men and women in who cover the NFL. But you have to hear the terms like likely to have surgery.
Yeah.
Plans to. That's another one of my favorite information tweets. Plans to. They have plans to sign this person, or they have plans to go to a certain scheme in a game. you can always back off and say, well, there were plans. I wasn't reporting they were doing it. It's just plans. So likely it may be likely, and that may happen. But right now Sanchez is saying he wants to rehab it, and the Jets are backing his play on that one.
All right, final 90 seconds here. Ndamukong Suh, was he fined for his reputation or for the hit itself?
Well, he's fined based on what he's done before. I mean, you take a look at the amount of money he's been fined. They've been escalating every single time. That's the way the league does it. You do it once, you get popped. You do it once, you get popped again for more money. You do it once in the most ridiculous way in front of the whole country on the beachfront property of a Thanksgiving game, you're going to get a reputation and a heavier fine. And then it happens another time. It doesn't matter that he hasn't done it in a while. What he has done in the past puts him at a certain threshold to get popped by the league for a fine, and that's where the six figures came from.
But if another defensive lineman applies the same block, is he fined?
Probably. Oh, definitely fined.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, but not six figures.
No, I know
if the
that.
same lineman does that block after being fined 5-6 times before, it'll be six figures.
Yeah, he's sort of like Rasheed Wallace with technicals or Ron Artest. You know, there's certain guys that they don't get the benefit of the doubt, but just because he's appealing that fine doesn't mean he's being defiant. I think that's what the Players Association is supposed to do, is back them up. Have fun tonight.
Thank you, DP.
Are you in studio or are you going to be on location?
Oh, I'm here in Rhode Island right now. We're going to take the trip up 95 to Foxborough shortly.
Nice.
Oh, I'm on the scene. No umbrellas for me though. No umbrellas for me.
Wow.
There is rain in the forecast.
Wow. Wow, that's a shot.
So no, it's not. I'm just letting you know.
You didn't have to mention the umbrella.
Well, I was saying there's rain in the forecast.
But then you said no umbrella for me, as if to say
listen,
I'm not soft like you.
Dan, take it as you wish. I mean, I'm just telling you. I'm just giving you facts. I'm just giving you facts.
So it's just content.
It's content. That's what I've got going on, DP.
All right. Well, tell Tom Brady I said hello.
I will do my best.
All right. Thank you. That's Rich Eisen.
The Dan Patrick Show, weekday mornings on Audience.